Alright, boys. Let's get it.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight. You could think that I'm a freak when I'm talking to myself, but it's like I was too weak to be someone else. You could think that I'm a creep when I'm singing all alone, but it's like I couldn't see straight on my own. When I fall, we start again, and when I feel like I'm just dead,
Just Gunner's on mixer as well. Can you guys hear me alright? Alright, this is a mic check. Can you guys hear me alright? This is on Mixer and YouTube as well. Multicasting through all of those platforms right now. Alright, great. I turned down the music. Alright, this is going to be a matchup between the Ghost War Operators and Flawless Mafia D-League. Both semi-pro teams in the Ghost War League. Both actually doing pretty well. I think that they are 2-0 and 1-1 respectively. This is week 3. You update that title, show week 3 appropriately. There we go. Trying to get my camera to autofocus correctly. Alright, looks like the rosters today are going to be Cuddy Surfer with War Creeper, who's a recent acquisition. They had to make a roster swap last week in order to pick him up. And Hippie God was here. I am going to be referring to him as Hippie Godwasher because YOLO. What we see here is a 2-minute lag test on Quarry. So both teams are going to run around. They're not going to kill each other. They're just going to be making sure that no one on the other team is lagging to the extent of being unplayable. And then out of Ghost War Operators, we have Tom Hundred, who is an excellent scout. Andreas Vamsty, who I don't actually believe I have played against unless that is a name change recently. Demon, and then Hemdall. Hemdall I know is more of a quick play warrior, and he plays a lot on the European servers. All of these guys on GWL I believe are European, so if you haven't run into them in quick play or ranked on the NCSA servers, that would be why. They do run a lot on the European servers. I'll see if I detect any lag out of these guys. So they're just going to run to the middle of the map here, make sure no one's lagging. This part isn't too exciting, but hopefully you guys will realize that this is only going to be for another minute, and then we're going to get underway with the actual match. I'm not seeing anyone warp around or lag. Looks like they're just giving each other love taps with the pistol to make sure that the damage is actually registering appropriately. Ooh, it's not supposed to happen. Is there a landmine in my beard? Gara, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but I don't think so. I combed it out pretty recently, so I don't think there's a landmine in my beard. Thanks for the follow there, bud. Let's see, was that Murder Mitten? Let's check. Yeah, Murder Mitten, thanks for the follow. Thanks, Yuri. What is happening here? Post migration. Looks like they're Someone restarted the match and I'm not happy about it. See what happens. What's up, man?
Oh, my fault. I mean, I meant to send the game. I just sent the game invite. How much is the delay you doing?
2-minute delay because I didn't get word otherwise.
Okay. All right. Cool beans.
All right, go ahead and I'll remove myself from party. Oof. My camera's just not focusing right. I'm trying to fix it. Make sure there's no fuzz. Alright, it's looking pretty good now. Is there a landmine in your beard, Tango? The hell kind of question is that? Come on, Gara. Andreas. Handle, Demon. Tom Hollard. Let's take a look at some of these guys' stats while we wait. This is Demon. He's an elite. 1.7 KD. Looks like he runs assaults predominantly with a little bit of sentinel. Let's go, guys. Alright, loading in. Let's see what they end up picking. Cuddy goes Scouts. Expected War Creeper on Toxic. Again, expected then 2 Assault classes. Now, Hippie previously was liking the Disruptor. This time it looks like he's going Pred. Oh, Handel is running Enforcer. That is not what I was expecting to see. Tom on Scout, that is very expected. And Demon still running the Point Man. Andreas still on the Disruptor. Uh-oh, that's a first round disconnect, so seeing as how it disconnected going into the first round, if both team captains do agree, they can restart it, but most people don't know that rule, and a lot of people just don't go for it. They just play through. So we'll see what ends up happening if he can get back. Ooh, maybe I disconnected. Let's see what's going on here. Where is Cutty? In homepage. So it looks like they're gonna have to restart. Problems loading into the host on that one. We'll give this another go. See if everyone can load in this time when they start it. Tell you what, guys, I'm gonna go grab myself a beverage, if you will, and hopefully this game starts to load in. Since neither team saw the classes, I really would not expect any changes out of the previous lineup. So, I shall be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, Detroit Sun. 4v4, when did Ghost Recon do this? I'm late. The PvP initially launched, let's see here, September or November, I forget. It might have been November of, oh geez, how long ago was that? Yeah, September or November, I'm kind of spacing on that, of last year. So we're coming up on a year of PvP here pretty quick. I think it was September. I'd have to look up that one to get back to you. But this observer mode that I'm in, and I'm able to move the camera around and shoutcast these games, this has only been out for a couple weeks now. Came out on Tuesday earlier this month, so two and a half, maybe 3 weeks ago now. Alright, and it looks like there is no change from the lineup, so exactly the same classes. Important to note here that Cutty Surfer and Tom Hundred, both scout, both thermal vision, but they've opted for a different primary weapon. Cutty Surfer has opted for the MPX, where Tom Hondard has opted for the MDR. Both guns are viable, by all means, and both guns have their own areas where they excel. I would much prefer the MPX in an up-close fight, whereas the MDR is a lot more accurate, so those long-range fights you're able to get damage out a lot more consistently. Alright, let's see here. Switch my monitor over. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna first show you just the layout of the map here. So teams spawn on the opposite side of this lumber mill. This main building right in the middle is known as lumber mill. You can run all the way to that road, and you can run out to about the edge of this large rock over here, and then the yellow line, as we would call it, runs right up this line that I'm panning right here. You can't run outside of that boundary. So it looks like both teams are going to start to get set up in the middle. Let's take a look at the leading edge of GWO here and Demon on the point man. Looks like they do have some awareness that they are near. They are being disrupted, which happens at about 60 meters, so they know that they're about 60 meters out. Yeah, Calvin, that I have to say that I'm excited for this match. Both teams definitely have the possibility to win. They have very, very similar play styles, especially with Flawless Mafia picking up War Creeper to help out with their drone work. I think that was an area where they were lacking in weeks 1 and 2, but they were able to pick him up, and he's a very good tactician of the game in terms of drone work. So both teams very, very close together. It looks like Cuddy Surfer is marked, so they do know where he is, but they don't know where the other ones are. Alright, War Creeper just got marked. Let's move over to this side of the map here and see what they're looking at. Now, obviously, they don't have the ability to see through terrain like I do as the observer. They're set up on this rock, and Ghost War Operator is set up behind that lumber mill, and now we see Hamdel going around for a flank. I think they may have just seen him right there. It looks like they might be distracted by the shots coming from up there, though, on that big log pile. Okay, it looks like we have Hippie falling back and realizing that they're getting flanked. Let's give you a bird's eye view here. War Creeper, the last one to fall back. They know that Ghost War Operators is pushing them, and they want to make sure that they don't get surrounded. Very, very good move without being able to take out anyone from Flawless Mafia. They did an excellent job falling back, regrouping, making sure they didn't get surrounded, because that would be essentially the end of the round if they get surrounded. There's not a whole lot you can do if you're trapped in those trees. Excellent grenade out of Hippie on Tom Hondard. Tom Hondard, the scout, pushing a little bit too far up, gets caught behind that cover, and now we have Hippie God going to town on their back line. It's important to note that they are disrupted, so that they don't know where that last guy is. Return kill. Let's see what he can do. Ooh, Demon doing work. Let's take a look at Demon's camera. He sees one on top of the hill, and he gets taken out by Cuddy Surfer. Excellent job there by both teams. Tom Hondard just pushed up a little bit too much, and he ended up getting caught out by that grenade. I'm not sure if that was just a random grenade, but it seemed like it was pretty on target, so I doubt it was a random grenade. Thanks, boy, man. I love you too. Kids checking in. They're playing outside with their friends. Let's see here. Alright, going in the next round. Very, very similar setups. They opted not to bring the Enforcer out of Hemdel, and they have him on Toxic. Very, very interesting choice here, the Toxic from Hemdel, going with the MDR instead of the SR635. I would definitely advise against that move that he just did right there with that weapon choice, but maybe that's just what he's comfortable on, and he's a scout main, so he knows the MDR. But the Toxic class does have the ability to run the SR635, which is widely considered the strongest gun in the game right now. So very, very confusing why he opted out of that. So we see that GWL is able to get good marks on Flawless Mafia here right off spawn. They know exactly where they are, and we'll see where they go with that. Flawless Mafia does throw down their toxic drone right in here in order to cut off their advance or make them scatter. He did hit 3 of them with that gas, and it's very important to note that there are no restock crates in League play, so that health that they just lost, even though it doesn't look like much, that can be the difference in the game right there, because you cannot get that health back unless you're a predator, but then you have to use your active ability, and they don't have a predator, so that health is just not coming back. How's it going, Aviator? Ooh. Auvate, or not quite sure how you want me to pronounce that one. I'm just going to call you Aviator because I'm Aviator background, and it kind of looks like Aviator, but I'm not entirely sure. So we see Flawless Mafia setting up a defensive line, very, very, very cautious here. They want to make sure they don't get flanked. They want to get the marks on Ghost War Operators. Ghost War Operators, after taking that bit of damage, they did slow down. They looked like they were pushing hard, but now they slowed down drastically. So there is a little bit of a glitch right now with the Disruptor where if you mark him, you can get disrupted from him, even though it's only supposed to be about a 60-meter ring. So we did see a couple of those players over here being disrupted, even though he was about 100 meters away from them. And that should not happen, but it does, and that's going to give them the idea that he's closer than he is. He's 120 meters out from the closest person right now, and he has no business disrupting anyone from that range. It's just a 360-degree radius around him. Sandman with the eggplant. Thank you, bud. Means a lot. Alright, let's take a look into Cuddy's drone. He's in his drone right now. He is running thermals, so he should be able to see all of these guys lit up nice and bright. He does have all of them marked, so they know exactly where Ghost War Operators have set up. Now let's see if he decides to move and rejoin his team or go for the flank. A lot of times in this situation, you'll see the guy with the scout flank all the way around when you know that the enemy team is just positioned in a group like that. And it looks like he may be doing just that. It looks like he's moving to the east side of the map, about to run up the boundary if I had to guess. He's going to want to make sure that he doesn't get spotted by any drones, because that will make him very, very vulnerable and defeat the purpose of flanking around solo. So he doesn't know that that scout has come up yet. It has a 6-second delay from the time that he puts it up to the time that it actually shows. Now you see that it appeared 6 seconds later, and he laid down immediately under a tree, hoping that he didn't get spotted. And in the scout, it's important to note that there are movement pings when you're in the scout drone. They don't have an infinite range, and it depends on the altitude of your drone. Anywhere between 200 and 300 meters out is the range at which you will get those movement pings. It looks like little white dots that pop up on your screen when someone moves. So it's a good chance that Cuddy Surfer did give up his location via a movement ping, but if the drone wasn't looking in that direction, then they wouldn't have an exact location on where he was, because he did drop down immediately after spotting the drone. Looks like Ghost War Operators are assuming that he is split. So it looks like Ghost War Operators have seen that he is split off. They might not have an exact location, but they do know that he is not with his team. Now, since that is the case, they have elected to slowly start creeping up and make this 4v3 fight before getting engaged from the side. Cuddy Surfer has taken the opportunity of the scout drone being down to push as hard as he can, get as much ground as he can before that drone comes back up. Looks like Tom Hondard is throwing a couple grenades, and he's just blowing up that section of fencing so he can run straight through it. So it is destroyed at this point and on the ground, so he can move freely between that. Now it's no longer a barrier he would have to hop over. Let's check in with Hippie God to see what he can see from his vantage point. Not a whole lot. Again, he cannot see through terrain like I can at this point. So as he's moving around, they may have seen Tom Hondard run down there, and they definitely heard that grenade, but they don't have an exact location at this point. Let's check in with Cuddy Surfer. See, he will have everyone on Ghost War operators marked. They know the exact locations right now. They did gas out Tom Hondard. They threw that toxic gas down on him. Let's take a look at that gas drone for you, give you a player's vantage point. So it looks like he does have 2 of them marked now. He had all 4 of them marked. Remarks him. Hippie God gets a good pick on Andreas. Let's go back over to Hippie God and see where he was set up, right on top of that log pile. Andreas got marked and he just wasn't behind cover. Very exposed there. He thought that the bush would save him, but as soon as he got marked, there's not a whole lot that can do. Cuddy Surfer does get the flank off, effectively taking out Tom Hondard. He knew the location of Tom Hondard. They lost him for a second, but being behind them, it gives you a lot of freedom of movement. Alright, so it looks like he knows where Hamdall is. He was marked. Real close-up gunfight with cover. This is a very stressful situation. Hamdall being the last one is able to blow up a barrel and take out Cuddy Surfer, but now he's in a 1v3 situation. Grenades are raining down upon him. Let's see if he can get out. He cannot. Sometimes when you're stuck crouched down like that and you try to sprint, it takes your character just an additional second in order to turn around and get up. And oftentimes that will get you killed in this game. Very strong showing that round. Thanks for the follow, Captain Hawkeye. Very strong showing from Flawless Mafia that round. They were able to effectively set up a defensive line and get someone behind Ghost War operators on the flank. They were superior with their drone work and able to get a long-range pick that kicked it all off and then pushed in from both sides, choking them out of the game. Looks like the same setup, but this time instead of Hamdall going on the Toxic, it is Andreas. Andreas is rocking that SR635 that I would highly recommend. And then it looks like Hamdall is a very big fan of the LMGs, rocking the LMG on the point man. Mixed feelings about this personally. It does have a very large magazine, so you can have a lot of rounds in there. Which, if your accuracy isn't that great to begin with, that can really save you, because you don't need all of your rounds in your magazine to get more than 1 kill. And also with the ability to not be suppressed that the point man has, it is quite strong, especially up close. You can't suppress him, so he has free shots with that LMG all day, and he doesn't have to reload. It makes him very, very dangerous. I'm just not a huge fan of the LMG because it's not quite as accurate as the other weapons available to the point man. Thanks for the host there, Ambitious. And Gunner. Let's see how this plays out. It looks like it's a lot faster pace. Ghost War wants to push into their face, realizing that they like to do the 3-1 push from Flawless Mafia. Let's check in here with Andreas. This is Demon. Click the wrong button. So he does not have anyone marked on the enemy team. Hamdall just pushes right in their face. Excellent job, but then he gets dropped immediately after doing so. Another trade kill. So Ghost War is about to get their 4th man up. It's going to be a 4-on-2 now, and Flawless Mafia not looking good in this situation. Cuddy Surfer tries to push in from the side and he gets dropped. Just pushing a little bit too aggressively into 4 men there. You got to stay behind cover. Let's take a look at this one from the eyes of Hippie God. The last one alive gets dropped by Tom Hondard with the SR635. Very, very aggressive round from GWL. Very, very good round from GWO. They capitalized on what happened to them the previous round of the 3-1, just the backstop of 3 players out of Flawless Mafia and then 1 flanking round. They realized that they were going for it again, seeing them split, and they decided to push the tempo there. Hemdall rather, had an excellent push on that point man, getting a kill that kicked it all off, and in doing so, he also made War Creeper give up his position in order to counter kill him, which then opened him up for Andreas to finish it off, creating effectively a 3v2, quickly turning into a 4v2 with the pickups. Very similar rosters. This time again, Hippie on the Predator, War Creeper on Toxic, Cuddy switching to Artillery off of Scout. It looks like he wants a little bit more firepower than that MBR has to offer. And it looks like the exact same setup as last round from GWL. So let's take a look at Tom Hondard here and see what he is able to do with his drone. I'm guessing he's going to be the first one up because, in my opinion, he is the most proficient with the drone. But it looks like they're going to give that to the gas and maybe try to funnel them into a very specific portion of the map. Now, he is not running thermals. That is a huge deal on this map. However, he does just try to funnel them out of that far right side, or the yellow line from GWO's perspective. He does manage to mark up Hippie God. And now we see Tom Hondard in his drone dropping mortars and getting out quickly to push the pace here. Let's get a little bit of a aerial view here for you. It looks like the gas does come out from Flawless Mafia in order to shove back that push. They do not like the fast tempo games. They love to slow it down. So they're using their drones here to slow down the tempo and establish into really good defensive positions and wait for GWO to push into them. It does not look like at this moment Cuddy Surfer is thinking about doing a flank, because that is what bit them last time. However, it is what won them the round prior to that. So it looks like they're going to opt for a straight up 4v4 fight. GWO clumped together, grouped up, team shooting at everyone that they can. A very, very effective tactic. But an equally effective tactic out of Flawless Mafia right here is getting multiple different angles on this team of GWO. So you see Hippie God over here set up, and he has a vantage point when he's standing up of about this. So he can't quite see any of them because they're all behind cover, but if they pop out of cover, he has a vantage point that is different than their disruptor who's pushing up now that has this vantage point. So it becomes increasingly difficult for that GWO team to stay behind cover effectively and be able to shoot at anyone because of the different angles that they're getting. Now, however, it does look like Vaya is pushing up a little bit closer to his teammates. Not exactly sure where everyone is at this point. Let's see if War Creeper is able to... it looks like he shot down a drone there. He's not in his drone, so let's see what Cuddy's doing. Cuddy Surfer, again, trying to shoot down that mortar drone out of GWO. They do get forced out of this defensive position. That is their strongest defensive position right there, that log pile. And they're able to get pushed off of it. Now let's quickly hop in over here to Hamdel, who is about to get a kill. Oh, he can't quite finish him. He's so low. He's so low. It's incredible. He almost runs into him multiple times. Is able to clean up the kill. Demon grabs that kill, but Hamdel does pay for it with his life. Cuddy Surfer, great mortar on the back line. Takes out Andreas in his drone. He was just not prepared for that one. So it looks like they do throw down a Toxic on the side of Flawless Mafia, but he did not see that pickup happening right in front of his face. Ooh, excellent kill out of Hamdel. Killed Hippie God. They know that War Creeper he was just shooting. War Creeper is able to take him out. Let's see here. Who else can we check in with? Demon shooting. He's right behind that cover. There's not much saving his life. Okay, turns into a 2v1. Looks like Andreas got picked up and he's able to get the kill on that. They do know where he is. He has no health. Look at this. Any amount of health. You spit on the guy, he's going to go down. War Creeper is not looking good this round. He's in a very, very hard position. He's hiding behind that tree for dear life. He doesn't have exact locations. Oh, Andreas going for the pickup. It looks like he's going to get dropped. Turning into a 1v1. Oh man, this is a tense round, but Tom Hondard does pull off the flank, gets around that cover, shoots him in the side of the brain. That was a lot closer than it should have been, in my opinion. GWO got a couple great pickups to start it, to keep that push going, but then Andreas going for the pickup there when they knew that War Creeper was in that area, likely watching the bodies. It was a very risky move. However, I'm sure that's a conversation that they had on the field with Tom Hondard saying, go ahead and go for the pickup. I'm on his flank. If he shoots from that same position, I'll be able to kill him. They weren't exactly sure of his location. They knew that he had been behind that tree, but he could have moved. Looks like exactly the same setups coming out of both of these teams. Yep, both these teams, exact same setups going into this match. Andreas, again, going steady hands instead of thermal vision. I highly recommend thermal vision when there is this many bushes for the enemy team to be sitting in. It looks like, again, this top side of the map, left side of the map, from GWL's perspective, is going to be the favored fighting location. Once we start getting into the 4-round territory, where one team has won 4 rounds, I do expect this this building side of the map, or lumber mill side of the map, to be played a lot more, because it is a little bit less controllable, because there's a lot more possibilities of cover with the building and coming in different angles. So a lot of teams opt out of it. Let's see what's going on here. We're going to check in with V, who has pushed up pretty hard, and he's decided that he's by himself and he wants to fall back. He's falling back next to Hippie God was here, or Hippie God Washer, if you will, who is also withdrawing at this point. Andreas looks like he is the leading edge right now for Ghost War operators. They don't have any location, or no one is marked. Tom 100 is pushing up through the city, which is a bold move, and I think that he's going to be able to get away with it at this point, because Hippie God is kind of looking that direction, but Tom 100 does have a lot of cover to work with here. So once he gets more accurate location of this Flawless Mafia team, he has the possibility of doing what Cuddy did in round 2 or 3. Thanks for the follow, Gmo. Much appreciated. Doing what Cuddy Surfer did in round 2 or 3 and hitting them from their flank. Looks like Hippie God is moving because he did see the sound markers from Tom 100 shooting, so they are aware that there is someone in town. They're going to be watching their flank at this point. So very risky move. Not really risky, but very interesting move out of Tom 100 to shoot that drone without being marked, giving up his location. Now maybe he had been marked and I just missed that, but well, we would have to watch a replay for that one. Alright guys, looks like Flawless Mafia has settled into their defensive positions, and they're not too keen on moving, except Hippie God is falling back, making sure that they don't get flanked by Tom 100 on this Toxic, or Mortar rather. Let's check in with him, because he knows that Tom 100 is somewhere in there. He's just not entirely sure where. Tom hasn't been marked in a minute. He's behind cover, moving up very quickly in any of those moments when he could have been seen. Looks like there's going to be a gunfight here. Tom 100 sees him first, does get some good shots onto Hippie, and ultimately takes him down. Very, very good flank out of Tom. Very patient flank out of Tom. It looks like they are going to be able to get the pickup very quickly. And let's move to bird's eye view so we can see what Ghost War operators decide to do with that drop. It looks like they've opted to slowly gain the advantage on the field. So they've taken map control over pushing to try to go for the win there. It was a risky push if they had gone for it. And I think they realized that since there were 3 members of Flawless Mafia still standing. Alright, let's check in with this this gas drone and see who has been marked so far. So it looks like Hemdall just got marked. Tom 100 has been marked, or rather Andreas has been marked. Tom 100 has not been marked yet. So they have the location of 2 of the Ghost War operators. And let's check in over here with Tom 100. They have no locations currently of any of the Flawless Mafia. We're going to move over to Andreas here, who's pushing up on the flank. He doesn't have an exact location. He knows that they're back in the woods. He's going to throw up his drone, try to get some better pings. Interesting move by him to make sure he got his drone as far away from him as possible before it shows. That makes it harder for them to estimate the location of where the drone came from. Cuddy Surfer way in the back now. He has been unseen for quite a while now, and it looks like he is going to try to get back into town, and he might be seen right now. He is pinged out. So Cuddy Surfer potentially has been spotted, by the drone of Andreas right there as Cuddy Surfer was moving up to the town. Let's check in with Cuddy Surfer as a drone at this point, see if they're able to mark anyone. They do know that there's a disruptor in the area. They are potentially, are they dropping mortars? They dropped mortars on that location. They have both of those assault players marked, and now Tom Hondard unmarked and Andreas unmarked in the city. Let's go back to bird's eye view and see what we can see developing here. Ooh, Tom Hondard going for the radio capture, or rather Andreas going for the radio capture. Tom Hondard's still on the hill. I don't think they're going to be able to get him off of that. Cuddy does have a chance to get a shot right here, and barely gets him off of it. I'm not sure that they captured that. They did not capture that. However, Hippie God going for the knockoff on Andreas there does give up his location in a very vulnerable spot, just sitting up on top of the hill. Tom Hunter is able to pick him off at range. Ooh, V able to kill Andreas while he is hitting that recon tower. Bold move by him to stay on it for so long as they were shooting on him, but I don't think he definitely didn't think that they had shots on him, and they did have someone right there for the pickup, so it's not going to cost them anything this time. Gas going down on Tom Hunter's location and Demon's location, pushing them back a little bit. They're going for the Cuddy Surfer going for the pickup on Hippie, is able to get it. Let's check in with Hippie now because he's going to be out for revenge. He's going to be pushing around the left side of this town, seeing if he can get shots on either of the players that are inside the town right now. It doesn't look like they have anyone of Ghost War operators marked at this moment, so he's going to be a little bit hesitant to push into town. Andreas back on the recon tower. If he can complete that, it's 60 seconds of being marked. V able to knock him off of that and again get a kill. It looks like they may have even put a mortar down for the pickup. Nope, they put it off to the side. Rather, that was a Ghost War operator mortar. So Hippie God is going to be looking right now to try to get eyes on that recon tower from a different angle. Hemdall is not looking good. There's a mortar coming down on his location. He is able to hide from it, but at this point his location is compromised. And he has to go for this pickup very quickly if he wants to be able to get it without them getting eyes on him. Oh, he gets a little bit spooked from something. I'm not sure exactly what spooked him there, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get that pickup at this moment. Meanwhile, we have Cuddy Surfer, Cuddy Surfer pushing all the way around into the town. That body is no longer going to be able to be picked up with any type of safety. Hemdall missed his brief window there to get the pickup. Gunner, I'm not sure that was through the terrain there. Let's take a look at where that took place from. Tom was sitting right over here. I believe it was this rock, and Hippie was sitting over here, standing in the open right in front of this tree. So there is a clear line of sight there if it is those two locations that I'm thinking it was. Let's check in with Tom Hondard here, who is getting pushed. I'm not sure if he realizes it. He should see Hippie God right there. It looks like he did mark Hippie God, and we'll see if he's able to get the kill. Hippie God falls back to some cover. Tom Hondard, excellent kill there on Hippie God. Cuddy Surfer, as well as War Creeper, both in their drones, able to get the mark on Tom Hondard and force him out of that cover. First the gas, now the mortar, the double whammy, forcing Tom into a terrible situation here if they're able to capitalize on it, but it doesn't look like they have anyone in the area that can capitalize on forcing him out of his good cover and forcing him behind just that little log. Cuddy Surfer inside the building still. Let's see what he's doing. Looks like he might push out. Nope. He's just holding down this building at this point. He's a little bit tentative because he's not entirely sure where the enemy team is other than Tom, and he knows he's close. So once that mark went away, it looks like Cuddy got a little bit skittish and didn't want to push anything without having exact locations. We're going to move back over to Tom right now, who does know that there's someone Does he know? I'm not positive he knows that there's someone in that barn. I don't think he would have gone for the drone right there if he had known that. They are able to mark. Who did they? I don't think they got any marks right there actually. Got a couple kills going back and forth, and a draw. So there wasn't a whole lot to do right there once the timer started ticking down. Both teams did go a little bit more aggressive. It looked like a one-on-one gunfight, one going in each way of either team. So that being said, with about 5 seconds left, not much else they could have done in that situation. Very, very close match, as a few of you were saying before it started in chat. Let's see if either team decides to change anything up at this point. Ooh, V is switching to Tech off of the Disruptor, and then Hippie God is taking the Disruptor instead of the Predator. Yeah, Gunner, oftentimes with the highlighting the outline that it has on stream, it can kind of look like they're behind terrain. Like, look, they're completely behind terrain from me at this point, and I can see them all perfectly clear. So oftentimes you can't really tell a difference because now they're not behind terrain from me, and it looks exactly the same. So that could have just been a camera trick from the observer mode. Cuddy Surfer electing to stay back and either watch the flank or look for an opportunity to use the flank. Ghost War operators being pushed out of their cover right now. Tom Hundred should be getting damaged right where he's standing. So there again, this is still a glitch that has been happening with this toxic drone, this toxic area right here. There's a very clearly defined ring, but about 4 meters outside of the ring, you will still be getting damage very slowly. So it's not a major deal, but the damage is bigger than the ring shows it. So that is something to consider. It doesn't look like he took any damage. Maybe those logs somehow saved him. Sometimes there are some interactions that are quite odd with the gas where it won't do full damage. Cuddy Surfer going on the flank now. Ghost War operators 4-man pushing up cover to cover against this Flawless Mafia 3-man team here. Check in with Hippie God because I think he is going to be the key in this fight right here for Flawless Mafia. He does elect to fall back, although Tom Honder does have sight of him right now. Let's see if he can get shots. 1 bullet hits, and he just potatoed that a little bit. Demon able to follow up a little bit, get him down to half health. That is a big deal. Ooh, and now Cuddy Surfer gets spotted trying to hit them from the flank a little bit too early. He tried to shoot at them from range, and it looks like he did get caught out there and dropped to half health. Vi is also down to very, very minuscule amount of health. 1, maybe 2 bullets will take him down and out of the fight. Cuddy Surfer dropping back, getting on his drone. He will get some marks here. Alright, he's marked Andreas. He's marked Demon. I'm not surprised he hasn't marked Tom 100 yet. He is dropping the mortar, but it looks like he missed just a little bit. So now it looks like Ghost War Operators is electing to push Cuddy Surfer out of his location. They don't have his exact location now, so he's stopping to put his drone up. Cuddy Surfer has retreated quite far from his original position right by that staircase that I'm looking at. So they're looking for him in the barn. He's likely sees a very similar view as what I'm looking at right now. Hippie God does kill off Vi in order to get that pickup, and now you're going to see that his health is just above half. They are able to get a toxic on location to make them pay for that, but that is called a reset. Oftentimes teams do not do this because it does have a certain stigma in the league, but it is a viable option if the game is slow and you have a player that is below half health. It does cost you giving up your location, and it can be capitalized on by the toxic drone, as it almost was there. That almost got there in time to stop the pickup from happening, which would have then resulted in a man down with a known location and you forced off the body. Ghost War operators definitely could have tried to take advantage of that had that been the case, but the gas drone was just a little bit slow. And it also cost you a grenade, so you have very finite resources. And a point man who, was it the point man? No, it was, the Disruptor has 3 grenades at his disposal. So now he is only at 2, unless he threw some in the beginning engagement, which I did see some grenades flying over there. I'm just not entirely sure who did it. So there is a possibility that Hippie God is now out of grenades, which can be a very, very valuable tool when it gets down to the last man or two on the other team, in order to flush them out of cover so you can get clean shots without exposing yourself too much and getting picked off. See how this is developing? It looks like Ghost War operators have now split up and they are taking over both the city and those log piles up on the top side. It looks like Flawless Mafia has largely stayed as a 3-1. Cuddy Surfer now electing to push back up the flank. Let's see if he's able to find either of the Ghost War operator members that are in town. Ooh, Demon gets a big pick on War Creeper. That is a huge, huge deal because that is one of their key pieces of intel now. Down. Hamdell gets a little bit too aggressive and it looks like he is going to... Ooh, he turns it around on Hippie God. That was remarkable. And then Demon again with a clutch kill there. So here we see Demon. This guy is wrecking shop right now in this round, and he had a couple of good kills last round. Hemdall got so aggressive there. I thought for sure he was going to go down, running straight into the middle of 2 Flawless Mafia players. But with the Disruptor close behind, they weren't able to get him marked, and I think that that might have just kept them... from taking the shots when they first saw him. A lot of times that Disruptor will mess with you pretty extremely, and then Hemdall is able to clean that one up as well. Solid Soldier saying that that's forbidden. I'm going to reread the rules for you right now because that is a common misconception. I've heard a couple people go back and forth, and I've heard debates on it back and forth on it, whether it's forbidden or not. The team killing off, that is referring to the actual in-game setting of being able to turn team kill on or off. And that is not actually a rule saying that it is forbidden to kill another one of your players in order to reset health. That's a discussion that happened several months ago, and I think that the wording of the rule is what is throwing people there, because you do, for the server settings for the actual match, you don't have team killing on, so friendly fire is off, right? And the way that the rule says is friendly fire allowed no. So I think that that's just a verbiage thing that is causing people to think that. I'm going to double check the exact verbiage here by reading the rules. I'm going to be reading to myself as quickly as I can and find the section that we're talking about. Rosters, ranking, scoring, server settings, forfeits, draws, no-shows, requirements, miscellaneous. Ooh, Tom Hunter able to get a big kill there. I'm going to just set this up here. Oh, very close-up fight. This is both teams just push the middle, trading back and forth on the kills. Hippie is the last one up. He is running the PP-19 on a trapper. Without bleed, that's not going to be terribly effective, and he gets dropped from the team shooting from Ghost War Operators. Absolutely crushed that round. Sorry I didn't commentate very much. So let's see here. It's got to be in this miscellaneous. Must be played 2 players. Winning team has to report. Maximum or minus teams for ladder. Yeah, I'm not seeing anywhere at all other than that one section for the server settings talking about team killing at all. And the server settings, like I said, it just says that friendly fire is to be off. And I think the verbiage there is what's throwing people, because nowhere else in the rules am I seeing anything about team killing being forbidden. I think that's a misconception that got spread around in seasons 1 and 2, and maybe there was a rule change between seasons 1 and 2, but I've been playing in this league since season 2, and that's never truly been the case. That was the rumor when we first joined, is that you could kill yourself with a grenade, but you could not kill a team member with a grenade. And I think that misconception just came from the wording within the server setting rules. So again, it does have a very, very negative stigma, if you will. But I look at it as a risk. If you're going to kill yourself or your teammate, you're going to be giving up the location of the teammate as he's down, because it produces that red skull that the enemy can see. It also gives them an opportunity to pounce on that with the toxic drone, making sure that you can't get the pickup right away. And then on top of that, they know that there's going to be someone very close by for the pickup. So you're giving away a lot of information by doing that, and in return you're getting the possibility of getting that player some additional health. So oftentimes I don't see it as a clear winner on which team wins in that trade, of the team that gets the reset or the team that is reset upon, because there's so much valuable information that you can act upon given to the team that just had the enemy player kill himself in order to hopefully get some more life. So it's a tit for tat for sure. And if the player is one shot away from death and they are able to get a successful reset off without anything negative happening, it's definitely a huge deal, because then instead of 1 bullet taking them down, it might take 4 or 5, which can be the difference in a 1 versus 1 trade. But that's just part of the game, unfortunately, and I think that really teams are capitalizing on it a lot more now, making sure that you can't get that player up, or making you pay for picking them up. As we saw there, even though they weren't able to prevent the pickup with the toxic that other round, they were able to get the exact location and throw a toxic onto the location, in turn damaging 3 members of Flawless Mafia for doing that reset. So it looks like we had a very, very quick spawn flip here from Flawless Mafia, pushing straight through on the low side of the map, all the way around, and then high side of the map, it looks like Demon and Tom Hondard pushed all the way around. Demon and Tom Hondard having excellent games, really forcing Flawless Mafia into a tough position. This is not an easy position to come back from, because there's going to be at least well, if Flawless Mafia is able to win this one, then they still have an advantage of a round. So the spawns are going to continue to flip, and Ghost War Operators now have the freedom to experiment with moving around a little bit more. We saw previously in the first 5 rounds or so, they were very, very much so grouped up. And now they're splitting 2 and 2, trying to maximize their firepower from different angles. And we'll see how they can pull this off, because Flawless Mafia is just shoving it down 2 members of Ghost War Operators' throats right now. They're able to get Demon and Tom Hondard back together with the team. Flawless Mafia just didn't push that quick enough, and they have to pay for it. Cuddy Surfer is able to get a pickup on Vi, and now War Creeper goes down trying to cover him as he gets picked up. Cuddy Surfer gets another good kill on Demon. That's a huge kill, but now it's a 3 versus 2. Let's see. We do have a flank here coming out from Hippie God. But they're getting the pickup on Demon. Oh, that is just devastating that they're able to push as a 3-man to get that pickup, all covering different locations. And it looks like this is going to be the end of Flawless Mafia. And it is. Just out-executed in those couple rounds by Ghost War operators. Devastating loss from Flawless Mafia. They definitely went into that with the mindset that they were going to win, and I think that once it was 2-2 and Ghost War operators were a little bit more aggressive, I think that they kind of just lost sight of their game plan, and they weren't able to execute after that. Because after it was 2-2, it was a very close match. Even had a draw in there at 2-2. They just got outplayed those last 3 rounds very quickly. Flawless Mafia is a much more slow, controlled pacing team than Ghost War Operators, but Ghost War Operators did a phenomenal job there, making sure that even when they were split up, they had the wits about them, knowing that they were getting pushed, and get those members back to make it a 4-on-4 fight. Demon absolutely crushed it during that fight. That was very solid play out of him. And I think that he was a major reason why Ghost War Operators won so handily in a 5-2 fashion over Flawless Mafia. So that does it right now for this shoutcast. If you have any feedback for me, go ahead and send me a DM, add me on Xbox. Please give me the follows, show me the love. If you another option for giving me feedback, in the top left of my screen up here, you do have both the False Memories Twitter and the False Memories public Discord server. Please join the public Discord server. We do have several channels in there dedicated to asking pros questions, asking if anyone else wants to play. We have our announcements go out live there when our streams go live, and we also have a channel dedicated to trash talk. So if you don't like me, go ahead and jump in there anyway, and I'll be happy to acquiesce your request by engaging in some trash talk.